Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with Ben Archer, a hardened mob enforcer, sitting pensively on a couch, a hint of turmoil in his eyes. Abruptly shifting to a chaotic car chase, a car repeatedly rams into Ben's vehicle, as he desperately tries to rescue a kidnapped girl from another car. As he finally frees the girl, a truck behind them loses control, and swerves dangerously. The screen fades to black. Next, Ben is back on the couch, now in front of two lifeless bodies, underscoring the violent nature of his world. Simultaneously in an opulent room, Sun Quan, a ruthless Chinese triad boss, is making love with his wife. When she questions him, his response is deadly: he kills her without hesitation. Panning over the bustling city, a ship carrying illegal Chinese immigrants arrives at the docks. Tired of his violent life, Ben decides to leave the mob, to be with his family. Elsewhere, a team from the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, led by Mac Hoggins, is preparing for a raid. The raid results in a deadly shootout, with some immigrants being killed, and others captured. Meanwhile, Ben returns home to his loving wife, Cynthia, a dedicated social worker, and their son, Nicholas. They share tender moments, and Ben spends quality time playing video games with Nicholas. At the ship, Mac Hoggins orders the disposal of the bodies from the raid, and instructs his officers to contact the Chinese embassy. Cynthia, aware of the raid, meets with Mac, seeking custody of Kim, a 14-year-old girl from the ship. Initially, he refuses but later relents, allowing her to take Kim home. She comforts Kim, who is traumatized and alone, and takes her home. Ben tries to break the ice by offering her chocolate, which she hungrily accepts. At night, Cynthia tucks her into bed, but the girl is terrified when the lights go out. Ben and Cynthia, seeking solace in each other, share an intimate moment. Moving on to Los Angeles International Airport, where Sun Quan arrives from Marseille. He is met by Andy Wang, the head of the American triad. As they drive away, Quan inquires about the missing girl, Kim, indicating her significance. Back at home, Cynthia visits a judge, determined to secure legal custody of Kim. As she battles the system for the girl's safety, the stakes rise, intertwining the lives of the Archer family with the dangerous world of the triad. Cynthia, determined to protect Kim, faces the judge, and explains that the girl witnessed her father, a dangerous man, murder her mother. Kim's trauma and fear are palpable. Cynthia pleads for a week's custody, to provide a safe environment for her. Despite initial refusals, the judge eventually agrees. Meanwhile, Mac is shown managing the illegal Chinese immigrants in jail. He soon visits Quan, who is practicing martial arts. The two discuss business, revealing Mac's corruption. Quan interrogates him about how he located Kim, and Mac admits he sent Kim to Cynthia's house, instead of a detention center. Quan is visibly irritated by this unauthorized decision. Back at Cynthia's, Kim joins the family for dinner, but her sadness prompts Cynthia to send her to her room with Nicholas. As they retreat, Quan and his men storm the hotel where Cynthia and her family are staying, initiating a violent assault. Chaos erupts as they shoot everyone in sight. Nicholas, realizing the danger, grabs Kim, and escapes through the back door. In the melee, Quan ruthlessly kills Cynthia. Andy Wang, noticing Nicholas and Kim fleeing, pursues them. Simultaneously, Ben arrives, engaging in a fierce gunfight as he drives. Upon finding Cynthia's lifeless body, he collapses in grief, holding her in his arms, his heart shattered. Determined to protect his son and Kim, he steels himself, and sets out to find Nicholas. Meanwhile, Quan contacts Andy, ordering him to retrieve his daughter at any cost. The stakes escalate, as Ben races against time to save his family, from the clutches of a relentless triad leader. He returns home, overwhelmed by grief. He collapses on the floor, drinking heavily and crying out in agony. His sorrow is interrupted when Quan's henchman bursts in through a window, attacking him. A fierce and brutal fight ensues, with Ben ultimately gaining the upper hand, but the henchman manages to escape. In the aftermath, Ben receives a call from Max, informing that Nicholas has fled to his place. Ben rushes to Max's house, his heart pounding. Seeing his son, he calms down slightly, and reassures Nicholas, promising to protect him. Ben then meets Kim, and urgently questions her about the people behind the attack and his wife's murder. She reveals the name Sun Quan. As they talk, Nicholas enters, anxiously asking about his mother. Ben, struggling to maintain his composure, gently reassures him, and puts him to bed. Determined to avenge Cynthia's death, Ben formulates a plan to kill Andy, one of Quan's key associates. He confides in Max, telling him that if anything happens to him, Max should take care of Nicholas. He also asks Raymond, another trusted ally, to stay with Nicholas for added protection. Outside a seedy motel, Ben finds a woman who gives him Andy's location. Armed and resolute, he storms into the motel, where Andy is in the middle of a tryst. Ben swiftly eliminates Andy's henchmen, before confronting and killing Andy himself. During the subsequent investigation, Mac Hoggins arrives at the scene. LAPD Detective DaCosta notices Mac's presence, and starts to suspect something is amiss. Mac's involvement seems too coincidental. Next, Mac meets with Quan, and informs him that the LAPD has identified Ben Archer as the killer of Andy Wang, and that Cynthia was Ben's wife. Realizing the situation has escalated into a dangerous vendetta, Mac cancels his deal with Quan, declaring it too risky. Despite Quan's threats, Mac remains resolute, and leaves, severing ties with the triad boss. Next, Raymond is making coffee, a moment of calm before the storm. Meanwhile, Ben, Max and Tony are huddled together, strategizing on how to locate Quan. Their discussion is interrupted by the doorbell. Raymond answers it, and finds Detective DaCosta standing there. Detective DaCosta joins them briefly, subtly hinting at Mac's dubious presence at the crime scene, before leaving. His insinuation casts further suspicion on Mac, intensifying Ben's determination. Before embarking on his mission, Ben promises Nicholas that he will return, and he vows to avenge Cynthia's death. The next day, Ben and Tony ambush Mac in a parking lot, kidnapping him. They take him to a secluded location, and begin interrogating about Cynthia's murder and Quan's whereabouts. When he remains tight-lipped, Raymond resorts to torturing him. As the torture progresses, Ben receives an urgent call from Detective DaCosta, who provides additional information, further implicating Mac. Meanwhile, Raymond and Max intensify their methods. Under the relentless pain, Mac finally breaks, revealing that Quan is deeply involved in substance smuggling, and Kim is his daughter. He also divulges that Quan can be found on the ship Katrina. Max, determined to eliminate all loose ends, instructs Raymond to finish Mac off. Afterwards, Max contacts Tony, providing him with crucial information about the Katrina ship, docked at number 19. Ben arrives at the hospital, alarmed by the screams of a nurse. Rushing inside, he discovers the lifeless bodies of Detective DaCosta and a nurse, murdered in cold blood. Determined to find answers, he pursues Quan's henchmen. He shoots one, and catches another on a bike, eliminating him after a brief struggle. However, in a devastating turn, Quan's men kidnap Kim and Nicholas. Ben, arriving home just in time to witness the abduction, immediately gives chase, driven by a fierce resolve to save them. The pursuit intensifies as he closes in on the kidnappers. Tony rushes into the house, followed closely by Ben in hot pursuit. In a tense showdown, Ben manages to rescue Kim from the clutches of the triads, but they escape with Nicholas. As it unfolds, a gas tanker collides with a car belonging to Quan's henchmen, setting the stage for a dramatic turn of events. At Quan's secret hideout, he oversees his illicit smuggling operations. Meanwhile, returning to the house, Tony delivers grim news to Ben: Max and Raymond have been killed, escalating the stakes even further. Determined to confront son Quan once and for all, Ben and Tony hatch a daring plan. They storm his ship at the docks, engaging in a fierce battle with the triad members on board. In a gripping climax, Quan emerges, holding Nicholas hostage. After a tense standoff, gunfire erupts, as Ben and Quan exchange shots. In the ensuing chaos, Ben sustains severe injuries, but son Quan meets his end. As the dust settles and Ben embraces Nicholas, their bond strengthens amidst the chaos. The police arrive on the scene, bringing an end to the deadly confrontation, and offering a glimmer of hope for a new beginning. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.